Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are sharing one of our first experiments with multiple mediums and texture. This one was a little out of our usual comfort zone, so you'll end up seeing that the project gets scrapped partway through this video. But to start off, we mixed up a couple 100 grams of U RESIN BuildFX mixed with a bit of black pigment. This was to create the rocky-like texture at the base of the artboard. We were going for a beach-inspired piece, so we also added some small islands in the middle. After we were happy with the layout of the BuildFX and the texture we had created, we started working on the top using alcohol inks. We used 3 different blues from the Copic ink range with some isopropyl alcohol to help blend and disperse the inks around the board. We used a paintbrush to then soften the edges and move some of the color around. This was all happening whilst the BuildFX was still drying, so right at the end of the curing time, we added some stones to one side of the board. If we were to make this piece again, we definitely would have left the stones out. It was a last-minute decision, but we definitely think it would have looked way better without it. One of the incredible benefits of U RESIN BuildFX is that just after 20 to 30 minutes of applying to a piece, you can apply epoxy resin. Anyway, once we were happy with the ink placement, we mixed up our resin. We then mixed up some U RESIN UltraCoat. This is where we were out of our comfort zone once again, as we haven't used UltraCoat in some time. But we were recently inspired from another one of our artist spotlights in our studio. This is where we made our biggest mistake to the piece. We mixed up colors that were far too dark for the look that we wanted to achieve. We wanted the alcohol ink layer to show through and give it more depth, but unfortunately the colors we chose completely covered it. So we completely scrapped that. We grabbed a silicone mold and pushed as much of that resin off into the mold, so we didn't waste any of it. Once that was sorted, we spread out what was left across the surface and reevaluated. Again, another benefit with our resins is the long working time. Even though it was 36 degrees in the studio, we still had a good 50 minutes to work with it, so we mixed up some new colors. This time we used the same inks as the base layer into the resin itself. The three different colors created more depth and lightness to the piece, which is more what we wanted to achieve. We spread the resin around and touched up the edges along the BuildFX to make sure everything was covered. Then we added our white pigment. This is again where we made another mistake. Usually when we work with uresin liquid glass, we wait until last minute to add white, as it allows the resin to thicken up and create more of a cell effect. But with uresin UltraCoat, since it is already a high viscosity resin, we shouldn't have left it so long. We would have been better off applying it earlier. So when we did try to create the cell look, it dispersed out way too much. However, it did end up adding some nice texture. At this point, it was time to leave it alone. We will end up adding a second layer to this piece with the same colors and adding more white waves, but this time much sooner than originally. Once we pour the second layer, we will post and update you with this piece. As always, we will list all of the products used in the description box below, which are all available on our website at www.uresin.com.au. We have Zip and Afterpay available with affordable shipping Australia-wide. If you have any questions, please leave us a comment below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more weekly videos. We'll see you in the next one.